Okay, on your list, it says you need to be able to do some coiling. Alright, remember, you need 9 out of 11 of these. This one is actually a little easier than you might think. Coiling. Let me show you how it's done. By the way, this shading is not anything I want you to do today. Don't worry about it. As a matter of fact, this shading is not even a terribly good example of finished shading. So just be aware of that. And I don't want you to waste any time with it. How to do the coil. I'm just going to put some marks here so I know where on my paper I can draw and still be on the screen. So if you saw the video on how to end a ribbon, you would know that sometimes what happens is I start drawing over here and then I disappear. So I got to make sure that I stay in here. Alright, how to do a coil. Well, I'm going to start from off the page and I am going to create a spiral. Easy enough, right? The distance here, when you know you got to stop, you want them to be fairly close together, but you need to make room for your edge. You can start your edge on the outside or you can start on the inside of your coil. But remember, you don't want your edge to be super thick. And sometimes you want to make sure you can turn your paper so you can always see where you're going as you draw. Like for example, if I'm drawing my edge right here, now let me get there. All right. Now at this point, the camera is showing I can't see my next where I'm going. So what should happen if this was your eyeball for real? If you can't see where you're going, you should turn your paper so that you can see where you're going. Alright, and my hand is not covering it up. So turn your paper so you can always see where you're going. So if your hand is covering something up, try turning your paper. So I'm making my edge, I'm just following along and I'm trying to keep it skinny. And I'm trying to keep it even and consistent. Alright, so do your edge first and close it off. Next, let's always start the edge of our ribbon out here. And what we're going to do is we're going to find where the turn is. And we're going to run along it until that edge, and I'm going to drop down. Now I'm going to do all my drop down lines. So I'm going to do a drop down line here, about the same length as this one, and then I can do an edge of a ribbon. I'm going to do a drop down line here, about the same length. And see how it disappears on here? Now it really does continue. However, we don't really see it, so we need our good old-fashioned eraser, which always disappears on me. We don't want to see it. Alright, so now, this is the outside. So therefore, I'm going to drop down here on the outside, drop down here on the outside. I'm going to go back to the left, back to the right, back to the left, back to the right, back to the left, and then we're done with the edges. Now it just becomes a matter of polishing things up, removing stray marks, making sure things are smooth, and it is coiling. Okay? So, easy to do. Easier than it looks, and if you didn't quite get it, this might be one of those kind of videos that you watch more than once.